Keisha checked her credit card balance on a Tuesday night and her stomach drops. She was 21. She had her first card since she was 19. She had been paying every single month, never missed one payment. And somehow, she owed more than when she started. $2,400. That number didn't make sense to her. She did everything right. She paid every month. So why was the balance going up? Here is what nobody told Keisha when she signed up. That card had a 26.99% interest rate. She was spending about $200 a month on it. Food, Ubers, a few online orders, nothing crazy. But she was only paying the minimum, which was around $35. So every month, $165 stayed on the card. And that $165, it started earning interest. The next month, the interest charged on top of the interest, and her balance, the one she was paying on, kept creeping up. She thought she was doing the right thing. The app even said her payment was on time. Here is the thing. This is not about being bad with money. This is about a system that was never explained to you, a system designed to keep you paying forever. But once you see how it works, you can get out. And we are going to break all of it down right now. What is up? I'm Marcus. Welcome to Come Up Finance, where we break down money in a way that actually makes sense for us. If this is your first time here, this channel is for you. Real talk, no jargon, no suits. If you have a credit card right now, or you are thinking about getting one, hit subscribe. Because what we are covering today could literally save you thousands. Let's get into it. All right, let's name what's actually happening here. The villain is called the minimum payment trap, and it is one of the most profitable things credit card companies have ever built. Here is how it works. When you get a credit card, they give you a minimum payment. It looks small, it looks manageable. On a $2,000 balance, maybe $35 or $40 a month, they make it feel like that is the responsible thing to do. But here is what they are not telling you. That minimum payment is designed to keep you in debt as long as possible, not to get you out, to keep you in. Example 1, you spend $1,000 on a card with 24% interest. You only pay the minimum every month. You will be paying that off for over 5 years. And you will pay close to $700 in interest alone on top of the original $1,000. Example 2, you carry a balance of $3,000. Interest hits every month. You are paying $60 minimum, but $60 at 24% barely covers the interest that just got added. You are basically running on a treadmill and going nowhere. Example 3, you miss one minimum payment. Your score drops. They raise your rate. Now the interest is even higher, and the minimum payment goes up, and you are deeper in. The minimum payment is not a lifeline, it is the trap door. Now let me give this thing a name, because once you know what to call it, you can spot it every time. This is called the interest spiral. The interest spiral works like this. You carry a balance. Interest gets charged on that balance. Next month, you now owe more than you did before, even if you made a payment. More interest gets charged on that higher number. The balance grows. The interest grows with it. You pay the minimum, which is not enough to stop the growth, and the cycle tightens. The interest spiral is why people pay on a card for 3 years and feel like they got nowhere. The interest spiral is why your balance goes up even when you are paying on time. The interest spiral is the reason the credit card company does not care if you never pay it off, because the longer you carry it, the more money they make. And the most dangerous part, it feels normal. The app says your payment went through, your account is in good standing, nothing looks broken. But the interest spiral is running in the background, quietly taking more every single month. But here is where it gets worse. Most people find out about the interest spiral the hard way, after their credit score already took a hit. Keisha did not just end up with $2,400 in debt. Her credit score dropped 40 points. Not because she missed payments, she didn't miss a single one. It dropped because her credit utilization, how much of her limit she was using, was too high. She was using over 80% of her available credit. The algorithm saw that and penalized her for it. So she was in debt and had a lower score, both at the same time, because of a card she thought was helping her build credit. That is the double hit nobody talks about. Let me walk you through Keisha's story from the beginning, because a lot of y'all are going to see yourselves in this. Keisha was 19. She went to community college. One of those credit card booths was set up near the cafeteria, you know the ones. Free tote bag if you sign up. She figured it would help her build credit. That is what everybody told her. Get a card, use it a little, pay it off, build credit. Simple. What nobody told her was the full picture. She got the card, $1,500 limit. She started using it for small stuff, a textbook here, groceries, a few nights out. By the end of the first month, she had $400 on it. She paid the minimum, $28, felt fine. The balance dropped a little, but here is what was happening on the back end. The card had a 26.99% APR. That annual rate breaks down to about 2.25% per month. On a $400 balance, that is about $9 in interest just in the first month. So that $28 payment, $9 of it went straight to interest. Only $19 actually reduced what she owed. She kept spending. The balance crept up. By the time she was 21, 2 years in, she had $2,400 on the card. Her limit was $2,500. So her utilization was sitting at 96%. Her score had dropped 40 points since she opened the card, even though she paid every month. She called the card company to ask about it. They told her she was a valued customer and she could request a credit limit increase. That is not help, that is bait. The interest spiral had been running on her for 2 years and nobody flagged it. The app showed on-time payments. The company was happy. Keisha was stuck. Alright, let's run the real math, because I want you to see exactly what the interest spiral costs. Keisha's situation, $2,400 balance, 26.99% APR. Minimum payment about $48 per month, roughly 2% of the balance. If Keisha pays only the minimum every month going forward, it will take her approximately 11 years to pay off that $2,400, and she will pay around $3,800 in interest on top of the original balance. So a $2,400 debt becomes a $6,200 problem over 11 years. Let that land for a second. Now let's look at what happens if she pays just $100 a month instead of the minimum. Payoff time drops to 30 months, 2.5 years instead of 11. Total interest paid drops to around $700. She saves over $3,100 just by paying $52 more per month than the minimum. And now let's look at the utilization side. Her limit is $2,500. She has $2,400 on it. That is 96% utilization. Credit score modeling considers anything above 30% a risk flag. Above 50% starts dragging your score. Above 80% is a serious hit. To get under 30%, Keisha needs her balance under $750. That means she needs to pay down about $1,650 before her score starts recovering in any meaningful way. So the path forward is clear. It is not magic, but you have to see the numbers to know where you are going. Here is what nobody talks about though. Getting out of the interest spiral is not just about paying more. It is about understanding why you were in it in the first place, because most of us were never taught any of this. The school did not teach it. The card company definitely did not explain it. And the people around us were dealing with the same thing in silence. This is not a personal failure. This is a financial literacy gap that was left wide open on purpose. Old thinking, the minimum payment is what I owe this month. New thinking, the minimum payment is the least I can pay without defaulting, and it will cost me thousands if I treat it like the goal. Old thinking, as long as I pay on time, I am building credit. New thinking, on-time payments matter, but utilization matters just as much. You can pay every month and still be hurting your score. Old thinking, I will deal with the balance later when I have more money. New thinking, the balance grows while you wait. Later is always more expensive than now. The shift here is moving from surviving the bill to actually attacking the debt. Those are two very different strategies. One keeps you in the loop. One starts breaking it. Here is what I want you to hear. Keisha's situation is fixable. 2 years of the interest spiral is not a life sentence. The math works in your favor once you start paying above the minimum with intention. Pay $100 toward that card instead of $48, and you cut the timeline by more than 8 years. Check your utilization, and you now know exactly what number you need to hit to see your score start climbing. Know what is happening on your account, and the trap cannot run in the dark anymore. You are not behind. You are just learning this now, and learning it now at 19, 21, 25 puts you decades ahead of people who never figured it out at all. All right, here is your one action for this week. Log into your credit card account right now and find 3 numbers: your current balance, your credit limit, and your interest rate. That is it, just those 3. Then go to Credit Karma. It is free, no credit card needed to sign up, and check your credit score and your utilization percentage. Credit Karma will also show you what is pulling your score down and how much headroom you have left. Once you know those numbers, you can set a real payoff target, not just pay more someday. A real number, a real month. If you have multiple cards, check out Tally. It links to your cards and automatically prioritizes your payments to hit the highest interest rate first. It does the math so you do not have to. The goal this week is just knowledge. Know your numbers, because you cannot fight a trap you cannot see. Keisha checked that balance on a Tuesday night and felt her stomach drop. But here is what happens next for Keisha. She knows the interest spiral by name now. She knows her utilization is at 96%. She knows that $100 a month gets her out in under 3 years instead of 11. That Tuesday night was not the worst thing that happened to her. It was the night she stopped being in the dark. Your financial come up starts right here. And Keisha knows what went wrong now, but knowing the trap is only half of it. The other half is building credit the right way from the ground up. That is exactly what the next video is about. Check it out right after this. Subscribe to Come Up Finance so you never miss one.